Hi there, I'm Trunks from Dragon Ball Z Abridged, and these are the Anime Egotists. You know, in the future, podcasts are a little bit different. They're actually from pods. You know, people trying to hide from the androids and everything. I had a favorite podcast for a while, but it got canceled. By the androids. They got killed by the androids. Don't get killed by the androids!
And welcome back to the Anime Egotists, where Dr. Giro would never make androids out of us.
Speak for yourself. He's already replaced my arm with a new arm.
If only he could just replace you in general, that would be very helpful. But anyways, my name's Alex, and I would not make it on Snake Way.
I'd fall asleep in the first 5 minutes.
I wouldn't even get started, that's the thing.
And I'm Richard.
There we go. And we love Dragon Ball Z, Super, GT, AB, if that was even if that was even actually a thing, or if I just ramped that up. We love the process of Dragon Ball. Especially, we'd like to think if we were in this universe.
Yeah, I know every person who's been a fan of Dragon Ball is like, okay, what would my character be if I was in this universe? It's one of the most popular animes ever made, if not the most popular.
That's correct. And every now and then, we like to talk about what our dream Dragon Ball game would be like. And we normally bring up create a character.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't have the time right now to talk about what our dream game would be like, because we would be here forever. So we just decided, what would our characters be like if basically we had full creative control?
Exactly. We went over kind of... we both have picked, I guess, a species, because there's so many options now, and they keep increasing now, as well as our kind of main attacks, I think.
Yeah. Very similar to the Naruto video, but considering this is the second time we've been doing this, I'd like to think maybe we'll be more prepared, but you never know sometimes.
Who knows?
Who flippin' knows? I don't really have anything more to that, but just let us know what your powers, species, backstory, etc., etc. So, do you want to go first?
Sure, I can. Do you want to just start kind of with the backstory I created for it, or how?
That's actually fine, because my backstory is like the one thing I feel like is set in stone.
All right. So, my character I decided was a pure Saiyan. The way I wrote him into the story was he was a relatively young warrior, mid-class warrior for the Saiyans, and he failed a mission, and as a result, as his punishment, he gets put in an experimental pod that they're going launch through space, and pretty much this pod is like a cryopod. It keeps him from aging. It's supposed to extend the life of the Saiyan soldiers over this time. And so he's launched into space shortly before the destruction of planet Vegeta, and pretty much the character I created is woken by Galactic Patrol. He only gets the basics. He's learned planet Vegeta is destroyed. Most of the species is dead, but he learns that on a planet called Earth, there are 2 surviving pure-blood Saiyans. And one of them happens to be the prince. I envisioned my character as being very loyal to the family. He accepted his failure and all that. And so he gets sent there. He's thinking that Earth has captured Prince Vegeta and is going there to... he lands and attacks West City, because that's where he was told that he could find Vegeta. And pretty much I fight evenly matched against Tien and Yamcha and Krillin are kind of the only ones that show up, because Vegeta and Goku are off training with Whis. They end up coming back, and Vegeta beats me down, but when eventually we get talking and Vegeta accepts me as his kind of pupil. That's mainly because I'm a pure blood loyal Saiyan to him, is kind of his mindset.
Yeah, there aren't that many of those running around. But yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, I'm not gonna say I knew what yours was gonna be, but out of what I predicted, there are like bits and pieces of what I predicted. Not that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying.
Mhm. I actually took a lot of this kind of from, well, the reason I picked Vegeta, I based a lot of this character on my Xenoverse 2 character, where Vegeta was the first mentor I used to learn all his moves. Like he was the first one that I stayed with all the way through, did all of his training missions, unlocked every one of his abilities. Um, but yeah, so pretty much I put this kind of taking place 2 years before Dragon Ball Superhero, the movie that came out recently. So Vegeta trains me in the hyperbolic time chamber to get me kind of more caught up. As I said, I was still pretty young, so I've only unlocked Super Saiyan 1 and 2 at this point through 2 years pretty much of training in the hyperbolic time chamber. I'm wanting to get up to the same strength as Vegeta and Goku, but I've got a long ways to go still. So I also kind of made my character. I was like, I want to rival with Gohan, but it's one-sided. I always want him to fight me, but he's always too busy studying and stuff.
Well, to be fair, in that same movie, it's like, hey, we have your daughter. He's like, leave me alone, go away. I'm like, dude, you suck.
Yeah, I just imagine I show up demanding that he train with me, and he just ignores me, and that's kind of my relationship with Gohan. And
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. But I like your backstory so far.
yeah, so I'm pretty much like my main duty as Vegeta's guard, whatever you want to call me, pupil, is that when he's off planet, I'm Bulma's security. I'm like the one person he trusts to make sure Bulma doesn't get hurt.
I'm pretty sure there are some fanfics with that same concept, but go ahead.
I'm not going that way. No, I'm just um but yeah, so pretty much right now Vegeta's working with me on training me to reach a point where I will be able to start accessing God Key and stuff so that I can catch up with him and Goku as the, I guess, fourth remaining Saiyan at this point. Because Broly, if you count Broly.
I do, but yeah, I can understand that. But no, I do count Broly.
Yeah, but that's pretty much the backstory I gave this character. He goes through, I'd say, I'm on par kind of with Gohan Beast and Piccolo and strength. I'm still working on getting stronger, but not quite ready to take on Super Saiyan God yet.
Yeah, I can understand that though.
All right. So, what is your backstory?
Okay, I decided to go completely different. So I've decided my base is just human, just straight up human.
Okay.
I wanted to go somewhere different because I know I'd love to be a Saiyan, but I'm just like, let me challenge myself. So my philosophy is like you. I kind of feel like I gained something to do right around Super, but the thing for me is, as a kid, I was always wanting to do martial arts, and I found it interesting. But at the same time, I feel like I'm the one of the few people who sees, oh, hey, there are these aliens running around using energy blasts and all this other stuff. But me personally, I think it's super cool. I don't think to myself, oh no, there's a huge responsibility that comes along with this. In the end, though, oh, there's an attack where I live, and I sacrifice myself, and I end up dying.
Like, which attack? Is there a specific one you had in mind? Or...
No, not necessarily. Like, maybe I just push somebody out of the way of an energy blast or something. The day still gets saved and everything, but, like, how would they know about the Dragon Balls in particular?
Okay.
So, I get to, and yes, this is one of the few times where I can actually say, I get to heaven. I get to heaven, and they're like, okay, so you did something heroic, so you get to keep your body. You can either live out the rest of your days, or you can do training. And I'm like, I guess I'll do training because there's nothing else for me to do up here. There's a tournament, and I want to train for the tournament. The problem is, I suck really badly. So while you take Vegeta as your mentor, I'm taking Pikkon as my mentor.
Interesting.
Yeah. I guess I can get into a couple of powers, but I'll do that later. But it's that from that point I kind of learned from him, hey, this is all cool and everything, but there's a responsibility to be had, and that's kind of me maturing, even after death. It's a story I kind of learned from the show The Good Place, where even after you die, you can still do your best to improve yourself. And throughout that, I'd also find other people besides Pycon, and it wouldn't turn into a you're disrespecting my training. It's just me being like, oh well, I just want to learn other stuff. So I learned from, well, other dead people. Well, for example, Zarbon, Turles. But I'm always telling them, hey, I'm learning your techniques, but I'm not doing this for evil. I'm just learning them. And they're just like, we can't kill you, but we do get to smack you around a bit, so it's a win-win.
So you're traveling down to Piffle. Right?
I'm basically traveling everywhere, because I'm like, well, what are they going to do? Kill me?
Okay. It's an interesting idea. I didn't even think about the afterlife part, which is kind of disappointing because that's like half of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. But the thing for me is, whenever I talk to them, I'm just like, I mean, at the same time, I know you guys are evil, but some of you, like, it's sort of a talk no jutsu, but it's also kind of a, now that we've fought a lot, we're slowly beginning to understand each other. I don't use a sad backstory. I'm just like, we fought enough times, we kind of get each other. Even if we're not on the same side, there is a level of respect.
Okay. So in this character, are you creating a kind of superhuman similar to Super Saiyan in the end?
In terms of transformation, I kind of just went with unlocked potential, like
Okay.
what Gohan has. I didn't want to go too much further than that. This would be a case for me of, like, if this was a story, this would be from the first level to the last level. Anything else would be like post game DLC, maybe the second game. I'm making small steps because I don't want to just be like, oh, now you're a human and you're even stronger than Goku. No, I want my character to acknowledge I'm nowhere near that yet.
Okay. I can understand that.
Yeah. And then I get to King Kai's planet, and unlike everybody else, I am struggling. I am struggling. He doesn't, and the main thing he says is, okay, Kai, you can learn the Kaioken, but like only go to 2. And unlike Goku, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll take your word for that. I'll just stick with 2. And at some point down the line, it's like, oh, we heard about a town being attacked, and we wish everybody back. And then I notice, oh, my Halo's gone. Yeah, it's been gone for like a week now. A week? Just take me home, please.
They just couldn't find you for some reason.
Yeah, it's just like, you were all the way up here. It's like, why didn't you come find me on King Kai's planet after Snake Way? We didn't think you'd get this far. No, that's actually fair.
Okay. So do you have anything that goes on when you're saving this town that you've been resurrected to save, or
Well, what? Well, at first they asked me, how are you back? And then I kind of have to explain to them, I'm not really sure. And then, of course, later down the line when I meet everybody, I could say, yeah, this is just between, I guess, maybe the friends I have and the family I have, but there are wish-granting orbs that brought me back. And they're like, sure, you know what, you're back alive. I can't think of a better explanation.
I could almost see it being that your character rises from his own grave because of it.
We miss him so much. I'm back. How much did you miss it? How did you do that? I don't know.
But anything else for your backstory?
Backstory? That's it for the backstory. There's other stuff, but I want to hear you talk about it. I feel like I've been talking for a bit.
Okay. So pretty much I've taken, as I said, I guess we'll go into powers next. So pretty much to start this off, I'm pretty sure we both have the basic set of powers. So we have the basic Ki Blast, which is kind of just the yellow ball that they throw around. Yeah. Flight. You'll have the after image. You can sense power, and you can control your power level. I assume those are kind of the 5 basic Dragon Ball Z powers that everybody seems to have.
Basically, yeah.
So again, with Vegeta being my master, I took a lot of his powers, but I only specifically took 2 of his kind of Ki Blasts as ones that I would use, the Gallic Gun and the Big Bang Attack are the two that I decided on. At his request, I also trained a little bit under Goku at one point and got the basic Kamehameha. I don't have any of the weird, random other ones. But having learned that both, I combined them to create my own ultimate, which is actually one that they created when they were, I think, that one's Gogeta. And that's the Big Bang Kamehameha.
That was Gogeta, yes.
Okay. And that's my ultimate attack is combining the two very powerful ones. I like to think that my character is like, I created my own move combining the Kamehameha and the Big Bang Attack. I think it's something new. I'm going to call it the Big Bang Kamehameha. And Goku and Vegeta just start laughing because they have already seen it before when they were Gogeta.
And just like Yamcha, you're like, wait, what do you laugh? Look, why don't you laugh in my face? He gets in your face. Ha, 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 ha. Sorry, sir.
Yeah. Let's see. I have kind of two more support. One's a damaging thing, but it's just because everybody seems to be able to do them. Solar Flare and Destructive Disc. Everybody seems to be able to do them, but so I just kind of learned them through random encounters.
Even Vegeta did the Destructive Disc.
Mm-hmm. I picked 3 kind of fighting techniques more that are, which is the Gallic Impact, where I charge the opponent, punch them across the face, knocking them to the ground, then walk towards them when they get up and put a hand inches away from their back, charging an energy sphere, finally blasting the opponent away along the ground with the Big Bang Attack. The Infinite Break punches the opponent twice in the face, knees the opponent in the stomach, and punches them away.
Yeah, I know both of those.
And then the last thing I learned from Goku was Meteor Impact. So double kick the opponent into the air, then rush high into the air behind the opponent, double axe handle punch them, hook kick them down to the ground, bend down and put my hand over their face and launch the one-handed Kamehameha at them.
Good lord.
So those are my 3 like fighting kind of techniques.
All right. Hey, yeah, you're gonna have to. I hope you have some way to differentiate yourself.
Possibly. As I said, I'm still kind of young. I'm still at that point. Is kind of my character's mindset is he's a student. He's trying to learn from Vegeta and Goku as his, I guess, seniors. Even though technically I'd be older because I was already older than them when I was put in the cryopod, but I'm younger in mindset because of being frozen for so long.
Yeah. And I guess for me, the main attack I said I'm taking this is not Turles's, Pycon's Hyper Tornado, where he makes a tornado around himself and charges towards people.
Okay.
The only problem is very early on, I lose control, and sometimes it causes like actual tornadoes. I'm like, oh, I have to stop that. And then the second I blast it, they just go away.
Okay.
Another one is I kind of thought to myself that one of my favorite techniques that Zarbon has is he'll teleport for like a few seconds, then blast his opponent out of nowhere. I thought about taking that, but the only difference is I combine it with another attack I know, the Volleyball Fist from TN.
Did you get that like watching the tournament years ago?
Once I get back and I'm alive, I'm like, I still want to train more. So I go to TN's dojo, hideout, wherever it is, and learn under them. But after I spike my opponent and they're about to hit the ground, I teleport behind them and blast them.
Okay.
And the only other thing is, I don't know if this ever got a name, but one of Turles' attacks is he'll create like a giant, he'll stand perfectly still, and as he's attacked, he'll shoot a ki blast and they'll basically erupt like a volcano of energy around his opponent. But that's one where I'm like, I'm not using this until I'm absolutely certain, because I could hurt even innocent people doing that.
Okay, I think I remember which attack you are, because it kind of like shows up as like a glowing mountain or something. And
Yeah.
okay,
And I do have one dynamic that I do think would be kind of funny.
okay,
As I'm training under Tien, Yamcha shows up for a visit, and he and Tien are talking. I'm like, Master Ten Shinhan, who's this? And Yamcha pulls me aside, it's like, oh, I'm basically Yamcha. I'm basically the strongest. Kind of like what he did with Beerus, but Beerus kind of like just rolled his eyes, and I was like, oh, you're the one I need to be training under. What do you need? I actually believe Yamcha when he says he's the best fighter, and he just lets other people win.
okay. And so, does that mean you also get the Wolf Fang Fist?
I'd be like, no, I can't take your move. I have too much pride, and Tien's like, but you took everybody else's his stuff pretty easily. It's like, no, I'm not ready. When you think I'm ready, I'll finally learn it.
So, is Yamcha like lying to you, saying that he's got God Ki, you just can't sense it? Is that what's going on?
Maybe that's the case. Ultimately, it could work, but ultimately it would end with me kind of realize, even if I don't realize he's not the strongest, I realize he's still putting his life on the line to help people and save people, and ultimately he's a good guy. It's just something I thought would be funny, like, oh, I actually believe everything he's saying.
Okay. I kind of had just an idea that for my character. So my character learns to drive really easily. So
Oh no.
so in addition to being Bulma's guard, I become her personal chauffeur when that's needed.
Oh
And it's just
gosh.
like, but you just like so confused on how I learned to do that. It's just like it wasn't that hard. It was just good. I studied for it and I was taught to drive. And he as soon as he heard the word study, he just turned his back on me and walked away.
He's just like, you're not my pupil, not my problem.
Oh god. And I was thinking I just think to myself, I probably should have used the word I trained for it, and he probably would be interested then.
Yeah, at that point, yeah. As for, I feel like personality-wise, I'd be somewhat similar to Goku in the sense that I'm kind of a jokester at times during fights. At the same time, though, when I'm not fighting, I'm kind of just I don't want to say mellow, but I'm a little more laid back about things. But when I meet people like Chi-Chi and Bulma, and I'm like, these are the strongest people in the universe, and these are the women who basically, how could they obtain women like this? And then I realized, oh no, the women are actually in charge. And whenever I'm over, I'm just like, hey, Chi Chi, do you need help with anything? And she's like, oh, you're so polite. Hey, you have such manners. And I'm thinking, no, I'm just terrified of you.
Okay. As I said, I kind of went in a little bit into my personality with my character. I'd almost say like awestruck with Vegeta and Goku because when I was frozen, there was no Super Saiyans that were discovered, and the fact that they've discovered, I don't know, 7 forms since then.
Something like that. Maybe too many.
Yeah, it's just an awe, and I really want to be able to catch up and be on par with them. So my whole mentality is getting stronger and learning from them as much as I can. Um, but I'm not arrogant like a normal Saiyan like Nappa or Raditz were. And I'm not necessarily as aggressive. I still have a little my Saiyan pride for the fact knowing about my failure and all that previously, but knowing now how much stronger I can actually become, it's like I've got I've set goals to actually train for myself and all that.
Yeah, I can definitely see you being like that.
Let's see, is there anything else really?
I feel like my character's younger than yours because I feel like however old Kaba, Kale, and Caulifla are, I feel like that's where my character's at. I don't know why. I feel like he picks this up a little bit later than he should.
Okay, so you you're pretty much a full-grown adult who's died doing something heroic and earned the right to be trained in the afterlife. Is pretty much that's. I'm summarizing. I think your backstory as well.
Basically that. Basically, like I said, Saiyan would have been. I felt a little too bad about Saiyan. Like, there's only like 8 of those right now.
Plus a whole planet in the other universe, but we don't talk about them until they actually show up.
Yeah. I guess one thing for me would be if I ever met Whis and Beerus, I would immediately be like, Lord Whis, please train me, do whatever you can. And Beerus is like, I can blast you right now, and you're ignoring me. But for some reason, my character doesn't pick up on, oh, he's the god of destruction. I don't know, it just feels like Whis is more powerful.
I could see that, and Whis just like, oh well, I am, but don't tell him.
And I was just offer sweets like, please train me. I know I'm not a Saiyan or anything, but I do want to get stronger and eventually just protect the people around me.
Yeah, I do have that my character eventually gets brought to Whis and Beerus as well. Maybe not right at this point in the timeline, kind of where I put my character, but after a few years of training and getting used to being Super Saiyan 1 and 2, finally Vegeta brings me with him to start learning how to get God Ki the way he did, instead of, I don't go through the ritual, I go through whatever Vegeta went through to gain God Ki.
Yeah. As for me, though, I feel like as a human, the second I get on, they're like, alright, train with us, train with Lord Beerus and Whis. I don't last nearly as long as Goku, Vegeta, you guys. I'm just like, this is not, I'm still, and that's kind of what breaks me for a good bit. But then maybe the Supreme Kai is like, hey, why don't I help you, because you're not strong enough right now. Let me help you unlock your potential. And I spend a good, maybe even several months training with him.
Okay, I can see that. It could be an interesting story arc of an in-tournament power. It's like the people trained by the Supreme Kais versus the those trained by the God of Destruction and his angel.
Yeah, and I straight up tell people, I'm a human, and other people are like, so you can't transform like them? No, I can. I just can't make my hair yellow or red or blue, or leave me alone.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't really want to go into spoilers of what's happened in the manga. I know what's currently up through at least a relatively recent chapter. I don't know if it's the most recent one anymore, or if anything's happened really big since then. So I don't really want to go into it in case people are hoping for an anime.
I mean, we're gonna get one eventually. It's just gonna take maybe 5 or 6 more years.
Yeah, so there's a lot that happens, and as I said, 6 or 7 transformations is actually not necessarily wrong for that. It just sort of depends on where we're at in the series.
Is saying there are more transformations really that much of a spoiler? With everybody, we know, these fans know what they've been getting into with this series.
Yeah, I mean, Super had what? 4? 3. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, and Ultra Instinct. We're all 3.
Well, Super Saiyan Evolved, or whatever that second form Vegeta had.
Okay, so there's at least 4 different forms that were created, I guess, and then there's Super Saiyan Enraged, which is what Trunks unlocks. So
yeah. I just thought of an ultimate attack for me.
Okay.
I take 2 Ki Blasts and just combine them into a giant wave, and the opponent catches it. But as they're catching it, I'm just like, okay, I'm bored with this attack. Heck, and I take the Hyper Tornado, and somehow I combine the 2 together and just rush head on. The only problem is, if it misses,
it leaves you dizzy.
It could leave me dizzy, but also there's a lot of environmental damage. That's like Naruto. It's kind of my story of maybe I need smaller attacks so the people around me don't, die.
Yeah, I could see that. It'd be an interesting way. I'm trying to think. So, as I said, my big ultimate though is the Big Bang Kamehameha, which, as I said, I still like to think that my guy created himself, but it's just a recreation of Gogeta's move, and they keep making fun of it because it's because of that.
Oh God. And I'm just like, well, you can't do that with me. Everybody whose attacks I've stolen are already dead. So, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's anything more to really go over, unfortunately, for this.
Did you? I mean, if you're a full-blooded Saiyan, are you thinking about the future?
Like, oh, no,
I'm
I
about to
didn't
say,
come.
don't make me come out and say it. I'm
No,
already not
I
happy about it.
no, I didn't add anything to do with that. I don't know, maybe eventually my character gets married or something, but it's not necessarily his priority.
I was about to say, we could just repopulate via Kui.
Oh God.
The dragon. I would like to. No, I'm not. I'm not even gonna say that. That's just like, and that I could meet Kui in other worlds. Be like, well, you could learn my techniques too. No, that's okay. You're too weak.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm already more powerful than Vegeta was when he killed you.
Yeah. In fact, even though we're dead, I could still smack you around. But no, you are not my rival. Isn't that right, Lord? Isn't that right, Lord Yamcha? And I'm just like, yeah, sure, guys, just go along with it, please.
Oh God, I could see. I don't know why I could see that. It's just like Kui comes out trying to be all cool and wanting to be strong, and it's like, yeah, no, you're absolutely pathetic at this point.
No. It's just like, oh, maybe I'll try to join the Ginyu Force. No, they don't want you either. People don't even remember. People don't remember you. Just settle down. Shoot, go away.
I debated looking at powers and getting something from the Ginyu Force, but it's like, no, I don't deserve that.
I was about to say, just merely the power of posing.
I did like the idea of my failure pretty much got several low-class warrior Saiyans killed and ended up causing the Ginyu Force to get called into the planet to conquer it instead. So I know of the Ginyu Force, but they were more powerful than me at that point.
The Ginyu Force. I've heard they're terrible, powerful monsters. They show up and they immediately just start posing.
Yeah, I'm just injured getting retreating to my pod, and they show up and conquer the planet, and that's kind of where my failure comes in the eyes of King Vegeta. That's where it came from.
I mean, we could talk about our dynamics with other villains, if any of them are still alive at this point.
Oh God, I'm trying to think. How many of them are actually still alive?
I mean, I feel like Zamasu and Goku Black, I just see red. I'm just like, no, I'm not. I have to take this seriously. Let's finish them off.
I have a feeling with my character, very, I'm more angry at Frieza than the other two. Just because I actually was an adult when Planet Vegeta was blown up, so I had grown up, knew the planet, knew the Saiyan race more than they did. And so even though they've worked with him now in the Tournament of Power and all that, it's like I don't want anything to do with him and want to get strong enough so that I can kill him again.
Whenever I see Frieza, I'm just like, oh, him again? Really? Why is he the one who? Why are you the one who keeps showing up? What happened to that Cell guy you guys keep talking about? He sounded like he was a challenge.
You
And
said
then
that to his face.
Frieza would blast me, and I mean, it would hurt. I'd be like, worth it, and then I would just collapse.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if. Well, I don't know if we'll ever actually get an actual Return of Cell anymore. Now that we've had, what was it, Max Cell Max?
Yeah. I like the original Cell better.
Well, he's a lovely singing voice, so of course.
Well, obviously. And the Tournament of Power, I feel like I wouldn't participate. I actually love the Tournament of Power arc, so I'm like, you know what? I'm not strong enough. You guys go ahead.
If I time this right, I don't think I think the Tournament of Power has already happened when my character showed up. I think it's kind of iffy because I don't know how much time's passed between Tournament of Power and Dragon Ball Super superhero.
Yeah, I never know. I never know anymore. But I feel like I'd get along with Kaba really well. Like I feel like he's kind of the person who like keeps me in check. At the same time, though, he knows deep down I'd do anything to help him.
Okay. Um, I'm trying to think of how my relationship would be with the other say with the Universe 6 Saiyans, right?
Yeah,
It's I I have a feeling I they just downright hate me because I'm getting trained by Vegeta. It's like
Kaba in particular. I'm just like, hey, back up. And he's just like, so what's he like? I'm like, oh, he's not that bad. I mean, but don't say if it makes you feel any better. His ultimate technique is already it's nothing new. He took it from their fused forms. If that helps you sleep at night.
yeah, so it's like I just kind of ignore them and it's kind of like where it's a love triangle. This is a rivalry triangle.
Okay.
I want to be rivals with Gohan. Gohan doesn't really want to be rivals with anyone, and Kaba wants to be rivals with me. And it's like, but really don't care about him that much. It's just like, so it's just a random triangle of not of wanting to be rivals and not actually getting to be with the person you want.
Yeah. It almost sounds depressing when you start to think about it.
It's like, it's not that I don't respect Kaba. It's just that it's like I don't see you enough.
Yeah. Kale and Caulifla, those are their names, right?
Yeah, the two female Saiyans.
I feel like Caulifla and I would just always be like, whenever she would immediately be like, "Hey, let's fight." I'm like, "Okay, yeah." But there's no. Normally, it's like, "Oh, hey, I don't know." I'm just like, "No, let's fight, let's dance." But I feel like a good amount of the time she's able to beat me. But the more we fight, the closer it gets, and she starts to realize, oh, if he had lasted one more second, he would have beaten me.
I have a feeling that if I have any relationship with them at all, it's that I just don't like her. She just constantly insults Vegeta, and like, and I'm the one who comes. Vegeta just doesn't care. He's like, it's a Saiyan woman. That's what they do, and yeah. I'm just like, but I keep like we just start fighting wherever. It's like,
yeah,
as I said, I'm extremely loyal to Vegeta.
Almost to a creepy degree.
I'm the only one, and I seem to be the only one who still believes in the monarchy.
Oh god. Caulifla and I are always always fighting, and we're always ignoring everybody else during our fights. But the second she leaves and Kale's like right next to me, she's like, I'm just like, oh. Normally you two are together. I'm very nice to Kale, but one, because she deserves it, and two, because I'm like, I've heard about that other form of hers. I know she's mastered it, but just in case, let me just stay nice to her.
Okay. Listen, I think me and her just ignore each other most of the time. We might talk or stand in the background of a scene if need be, but we don't fight like the same way.
Yeah.
Maybe if I badmouth Caulifla.
I would say that. I'd be like, hey, he said something bad about Caulifla, so go nuts. Can't believe we ignored Piccolo this whole time.
Yeah, I mean, I like his moves, but I just didn't really want any of his powers. Hell's Zone Grenade would be the one power I would take if I chose it, but I decided that would be one too many powers to give myself.
I wouldn't take the attack itself, but I would take the key manipulation stuff. That's actually the one thing I pick up kind of quickly.
Okay.
But whenever he says we need to meditate together, I do it, and I'm like, I can't do this as long as you. How long have we been doing this? About 3 days now. We've been meditating for 3 days? Unlike you, I have to eat, dude. So I'll see you next week? Yeah, I'll see you then.
God. I could see that he tried to teach me how to meditate, and I'm just like... I sat there for like 3 seconds and got annoyed and tried to pick a fight with him and just walked away.
and I'm not even watching the fight. I'm like, I'm trying, and you're just like, is he meditating or sleeping? You know, sometimes it's hard to tell. He does sleep like that sometimes.
Well, no, I mean that Vegeta get or not Piccolo gets up and walks away from me when I try to pick a fight with him, and just he never really wants to interact with me at all.
God, I feel like your character should have some self-esteem. Good God.
Like, as I said, I picked a fight with Piccolo because of it. It's
Your character is very violent. Then again, he's a Saiyan, so I guess I can't really blame him in that regard. I feel like I'm peaceful for the most part, but if somebody challenges me to a fight, I'm always ready for it.
So. Do you have any relationship with Broly? Because he's kind of becoming a big character now, more and more.
I feel like I would not feel like people like a normal person. You see Broly, you're kind of scared of him, and it makes sense. He's a big, scary guy. I feel like I don't see that at first. I'm just like, oh, no worries, big guy, and I just pat him on the back. I'm just like, it's no worries. He's you want to train with us, and then I see his power. I'm like, oh god, oh dear God, I was not prepared.
See, I could see my character. So pretty much, I had an idea that it's when I eventually go and start training with Whis to get God Key, they're still working with Broly to control his power and not go berserk and out of control. So I kind of view it as it's like, okay, we're kind of at the same level because he can control himself up to like the same point that I am. So I'm working on getting stronger and he's working on gaining control of his power at the same time. And that so we end up training at the same kind of level, just as working on different things at this time.
Yeah, I could see that. That movie really fixed him.
Oh my god, yes.
He was so terrible beforehand, but now I actually care and I want him back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I keep hoping to hear that he's in the manga and that we'll be getting him in whatever Dragon Ball Super Anime 3 or Dragon Ball Super X.
Yeah. And with Chi and I don't remember the other guy's name. You know who I'm talking about, though.
Yeah.
No, but I'd like to say I like our characters for the most part. I feel like I've tried to be a little more grounded with mine, but at the same time, though, I do still like where I went with him.
I do too. It was definitely a unique take, especially your character. I was not expecting human who died and was trained in at the start of, or got most of his beginning training in Otherworld.
Yeah. Oh god, that just made me think that I'd be like, don't worry, Master Python. When we get the Dragon Balls, I'll wish you back, and I just sadly keep forgetting to do it. And he's like, I don't care. I am perfectly happy up here, and I'm thinking, yo, who the hell killed this guy?
So it's kind of like with Goku and King Kai, where he
but Python just doesn't care. He's just like, I'm fine here. I'm good to go.
Yeah, but I think both of our characters at least have good backstories.
Yeah. I'd like to think that maybe we could get a game out of stuff like this, but I feel like your character is a little easier for them to be like, yeah, we could do something like that. Mine's like, no, you're not going to Otherworld. I'm like, but it's unique and cool and stuff like that. And I'm not turning villains around. We're gaining respect for each other. You're like, yeah, but no. That's what you get for hoping.
We got parts of both because Xenoverse 2 especially, you could pretty much use any character that's been in the series as a trainer at some point.
Yeah.
So, as I said, that's kind of where I got my character, because a lot of the moves I used in here are moves I used on my Xenoverse 2 character, or one of the two I created.
Yeah. I took a couple of them at the same time, though. Yeah, I took a couple of them. But I've created so many different characters that I'm just like, if I list every attack I've given every single character, this video is going to be like 6 hours long.
Yeah, that's... God. Yeah, I mean, there's what? I mean, so many powers, it's like, okay, if you give yourself Dragon Ball Z powers, you'd probably want to give him almost everything because there's very few powers that have drawbacks.
For the most part. Or heck, even I don't even have to live in the Dragon Ball universe. Just give me the powers I talked about, how in real life, and I'll be set.
All right, but yeah, I don't
Wait,
think this. Oh, go
there's
ahead.
one thing. How would our characters interact? Because I feel like your character's older than mine.
I think only by a few years because he was still pretty. The way I had it, he was still pretty young, and he's been frozen that entire time. So he's younger than Vegeta and Goku by a good bit.
Okay.
Just physically, like I put him as like I don't know, mid 20s probably is in age when he was
I
frozen,
think
and
mine was early 20s.
so yeah. Um, I really don't know because it sounds like our characters kind of polar opposites when it comes to their ideas of fighting. My character is has the stereotypical saying, I want to fight everybody who I think is a strong opponent," and your character's just like, "I'll learn from anybody, but uh, don't necessarily need to fight everybody."
Yeah, I think my character's a little more on the friendlier side until he like needs to protect something. He, in a sense, kind of reminded me of Luck from Black Clover. He's just straight up like, "Come on, can we fight? Can we fight? Who cares if one of us dies? As long as it's a good fight, I don't really care." But then when he needs to get serious, it's like, "Okay, yeah, let's. I have to take you down here."
I have a feeling that your character like doesn't really understand, or doesn't not really understand is not the right term. Doesn't like the way I almost worship Vegeta as the prince and all that. He's just like, you do know there's three of you, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, you're not. And I don't say this in the sense. And my character wouldn't say, "Hey, you shouldn't be respecting Vegeta." It's more like there are other people to learn from. You can't just learn all your life lessons from one person. Like take Lord Yamcha. And you immediately look at him and it's like, "I've heard stories about him. You need newer role models."
I have a feeling that we get into fights because Yamcha told you that he was the one who broke up with Bulma, and you hate it when I tell you that she just decided that she wanted to be with Vegeta instead, and it's just that's where our big where we get antagonistic towards each other is because it's just because of their love life we fight over that.
That's so dumb, but it's so on brand for the series. Please, I feel like at the same time though, in fights we work very well together.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of have like a Zoro Sanji relationship at times. And it's just like, so you take the 50 on the left, I'll take the 50 on the right. I'm like, screw you, I'm taking 51.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I think that would be good for our characters way to interact.
And at the same time, it's like, well, looks like we can't hold them off before Goku and Vegeta show up. There's only one thing we have to do, and I'm like, we need to fuse. And the second you're about to be like, fine, let's do it, they show up here like, oh my god, thank you. I mean, oh dang, we didn't get to fuse. That's too bad.
I could see it. That would be an interesting one. It's like it just I'm at because then we could combine and our powers would be like because I seem to have the bigger like long range key blasts as a lot of my powers, and you have that spinning tornado. So we have a power that is pretty destructive. It's just we do the tornado while firing key blasts.
Oh god, yeah. Can I add one? I want to add one thing to my character. I don't know if you'll take it for your character, but I want to add this.
Okay.
Do you know Arali?
The name's familiar. Oh, is that the
android, purple hair, like,
okay,
very
yeah.
excitable?
Yes, I know.
I feel like her and I get along a little too well. It's just like, oh, they're the exact same person.
I have the horror stories from when Vegeta and her interacted, and it's like he like I don't know. She's so strong in his opinion that it's don't even consider fighting her is kind of his mentality for me.
And I'm just like, I'm not strong enough to take. The only attack I take from her is when she takes the stick and pokes the I guess there's no other term for it, but pokes the poop and just throws it at somebody, like in J Stars. It knocks out a bunch of grunts. I'm like, wow, that must be powerful. And you're just like, no, it's just against a bunch of weaklings. Like, whatever. You're not learning her worst attacks.
I could see that. It'd be an interesting character because I love her inclusion in those one-off episodes. Those are some of the best one-off episodes I think the series has.
The crazy thing is, for years, I thought she was part of the universe. I'm just like, oh, it's she's from Dragon Ball. I'm like, oh no, it's just a that's.
No, she had her own show before Dragon Ball before Dragon Ball was a thing.
Yeah, I found that crazy when I first learned that.
Yeah, I think was she the first? Was that the first series Toriyama created?
I think so, or at least had a hand in something like that. Meanwhile, I feel like we never see her that often anymore.
I mean, it had been years since we had seen her when she showed up in Super, so.
Goku was trying to fix his instant transmission. We just randomly see her. I'm like, oh, I know her.
Yeah, it's just. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other good characters. Oh, what are your views on the Pilaf gang? As they're now kids, consider that.
I don't know if you mean in character or just in general, but that's weird. It's weird to me.
I guess a little bit of both, especially because Mai and Trunks are slowly, I guess, being pushed to be together.
Mai and who?
Trunks.
Oh,
like how they are in the other.
What did you say at first, though?
They're being pushed to be together.
I thought you said Mai and somebody else.
No, I just said Trunks.
Okay. Okay, well, I guess since it technically happened in Super, I'm okay with it, but messing with their ages to me is just super weird.
Yeah, I like that it was like a joke that he made the wrong wish. Instead of wishing to be youthful, he wished to be young or something, is I think the whole joke.
How does that keep happening in this show?
Yeah, it's like, how did they get the Dragon Balls and how did he wish for that?
Yeah, but I basically just feel like they're like the Team Rocket. They don't, like, obviously they're technically still bad guys, but they'll do the right thing every now and then.
I kind of view that because they hang around Capsule Corp so much and I'm serving as Bulma's bodyguard a lot of the time, I put them in timeout a lot. It's like, you could just see them in the background facing a corner or something.
And I just look at them like, I have nothing to learn from these three. Except, and then I slowly start to learn the craftiness, because I feel like my character isn't while not as strong as everybody else, is craftier, and I learned that from them. I'm like, thanks, I learned more from you guys than I ever did from that guy I met, Kui.
He was just fun to punch. I could see, like,
for about 10 seconds, and then it got boring.
I could see, Zarbon and Dodoria using Kui, like when they're training you, they just bring Kui out. It's like, okay, and here's your punching bag.
And he's just like, I don't work for you anymore. And it's just like, where are you going to go? Where are you going to go?
Kui is one of my favorite characters to beat up in the long run, I think.
Yeah, and some people might be thinking, oh, what if somebody wishes Kui back and he comes after you? No. Who's going to wish Kui back? No. I don't even think Kui's mom would bring him back.
I like to think that Kui was the last of his species, and Vegeta technically caused their species to go extinct.
Why do I get the feeling that's not the only time Vegeta has done that?
Well, he did it with those bug aliens that Nappa made mate.
No. Once again, I learned nothing from them. Because I'm just like, they don't know how to fight. They just know how to do that, which no one should have to witness. But overall, I like our characters. I think they're interesting. They're different enough for the most part that they feel unique, but at the same time similar enough so they're not like game breaking or anime or manga breaking.
Yeah, they kind of both seem to fit a role that is, I guess, kind of missing in the dynamics of all the characters that we currently have in the series that are relatively recurring or major character.
Yeah. And even if even I guess for me especially, even if they're not strong enough, I still feel like they're still trying because a lot of the humans gave up.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I didn't want to do a human. It's like, I could do a half breed, but I don't want to create another son for one of them or a daughter for one of them.
It's just like, so you gonna have kids? No. What? I'll adopt. I'll grab a human somewhere. I'll just take care of him.
But you adopt a human baby, so it thinks it's Saiyan the entire time. It's like, when will I get my tail, and when will I become a Super Saiyan, Dad?
Yeah. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. No. Oh, and some of you might be thinking, so if that in mind, are you gonna pair your characters up with anybody? If y'all really want us to, I'm not gonna say we'd make a video about it because it would be a very, very short video, but I don't know.
As I said, it might happen, but it would be like eventually discovering I guess a woman similar in personality to Chi-Chi and Bulma eventually, because I'm my character's sick.
There are a lot of those in the Dragon Ball universe. But that's the thing. We've talked before. Create a character in Dragon Ball games. I thought that's what helped Xenoverse. Was it perfect? Absolutely not. Should they move on to a different type of game rather than just Xenoverse 2 for the past 7 years? Good God. A good while. I love Xenoverse 2. But if we got a game where we could customize our own story and attacks and stuff like that, I'd like to think that could be cool. Obviously, it would not be easy, but y'all understand what I mean at this point.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting games I think coming out that have like levels to powers that you can unlock and stuff. So it'd be interesting to be able to do that. So it's like, okay, you unlock this power, now you can unlock like a plus 10 power, and it changes the size and stuff as you get stronger and all that, so you can learn different forms of the same attack.
Exactly. And I'd like to think that at some point we'll get some type of version of a game like this. Maybe not for the next like 50 or something years, but I'll probably still be playing at that point.
Yeah, and we'll be on. They may finally release Xenoverse 3 at that point.
It would surprise. I expect that, but it also wouldn't surprise me if it was still just Xenoverse 2 at that point.
Here's the DLC. It's still just character packs.
Now I'm sad.
Am I wrong that have they done anything other than character packs in DLC?
Well, not really. No. I hate when you're right.
I do too.
But overall, do we have anything else? I know you tried to say something along the lines of, I don't know if anything else, but I'm trying to extend this episode at least for a good bit, because I don't like really short episodes.
Unfortunately, I don't really have anything else. I might be able to come up with something if you have any more ideas. But
no, I do not. We've hit a good stopping point. So can we close out?
Yep.
All right. So, ladies, gentlemen, and others, what type of Dragon Ball powers would you guys like to have? What species would you be? Do you have a backstory? I'd like to think you have something. And even though I tried to be different, don't worry if you have the same answers as a bunch of other people. Well, I just like to be a little different and creative with that, which probably means I'll never get what I want. But I'd still like to be different in that regard. Just let us know, you guys.
Yeah, and if you want to be the same as everybody else, I know everybody likes the pure blood Saiyans. That's perfectly fine as well.
Yeah. Hopefully we could, like we did with Naruto, I'd like to think we could do the same thing with other videos. Like, I've been rewatching Black Clover again. I've been getting a lot more into it. I'd like to think maybe you'd be able to talk about it, but I don't know. I
have started the Royal Knight Selection exam. I have started it, so I met God, I don't know what his actual name is because he stole the purple Orcus thing.
Oh, you met Xerx.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think you might like it. I think you might enjoy him. But I'd like to think that at some point we could do this for that. I still think I could be able to do it with Fairy Tail once I give it a chance.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of done it with Pokemon because we've gone over our teams before. Kind of done it with Yu-Gi-Oh because we've gone over what decks we'd like to use and stuff. So
I still think we could do Soul Eater.
that one would be an interesting one because I think we'd want to do that one as one of us is the Miser and one of us is the what is it, the Scythe.
I think we've discussed before that I'm the weapon.
So we'd have to probably work together to set that one up, but I think we could do it.
Yeah. I think, we'd love to talk about our interactions with the characters because those guys are completely insane.
Yeah.
But anyways, be sure to let us know. Hope you guys are having a great New Year so far. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next time. This has been Alex.
And Richard.
And you have been listening to Anime Egotists. Good night, and peace easy.